How's it going, my fellow parents? Hey, there's a lot of reasons why we all came here today to listen to this podcast. A lot of reasons. You and I have a lot in common. One of the things we have in common is, we love our kids. We love them so much. We want them to grow up to be wise, healthy, successful. We also want to be good parents. We want to be better than our parents. We want to just break bad generational cycles. We want to create new ones. I bet you're a lot like Jordan and I. We're already thinking about grandparenting at this stage. And we look around the world and we just see lots of problems, lots of shady stuff, lots of stuff that's concerning that we just want to say, no, thank you. And we see stuff that's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, how do we do that? How do I raise kids like that? So today's topic's really important because we got a lot of kids, Jordan, that are really just lazy and they're not pushing through and they don't seem to want to be successful, and all these screens everywhere. This is an important topic. You actually chose this topic for today. So why did you pick this topic for us?
I don't know. I think it's hard to find that transition in your mind of when something is happening to you that's bad, or when something is happening to you, but you choose to look at it good, right? And you can clearly see how successful people look at life versus people who look at life the former way. And it's just like, woe is me. Life is so hard. I can never get ahead. But it really takes this growth mindset pattern that could take a lifetime to learn. I just think it's wise for us to at least start the introduction to some people who haven't thought this way of like, you can change the way you feel. Like, it's funny because I'm seeing this change in some of the people I work with's lives in front of me, right? I could like when I first started versus where I am now, and they're starting to say things to me like, well, it's how we look at things. We can choose to be happy or we can choose to be sad, but whatever emotion we have, it's a choice. And I'm like, oh, that's so crazy you say that.
Wow.
Because it would, they're on this learning journey too of how to fix that mindset.
It's like at your workplace, there's creating a culture of positivity, optimism, growth mindset, all that. It's like people are, and that is so true. That is how humans are wired. We are so like connected to each other. So when one or two or three people start talking that way, now you're talking about it on a podcast. It's impacted you.
And it's so funny, but I even do it like as I'm broadcasting the weather. It's like little things like, oh my gosh, we've had so much rain. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. But at least you got rain. It's better than not having anything, right? And so then I look at the counter of that where I'm like, you don't want the faucet to turn off.
Yeah. Now, this has been a pretty hot topic, grit, perseverance, for a long time, but especially since Carol Dweck, her groundbreaking research was done and this book called Grit came out about 15 years ago. But what you're about to hear, everybody, these are 7 action steps that are going to be good.
Are they gritty? Are they gritty?
They're gritty. They're grady. They're great. You should do these 7 things and implement them in your own life, in your own mind, in your parenting. But we just want to make this clear. What you're about to hear, like, this is not going to be easy. And it's not easy to teach grit to these kids in this generation. Tell me your thoughts on that, man.
Well, I don't know why we all think that life is supposed to be easy. And I mean, it's because of the age we live in, right? I mean, this is so great. Don't get me wrong. We've got the easiest time to be alive. Email. I don't even have to handwrite anything and put it in snail mail and wait for it to get delivered, right? It's like one click of a button. I could call you on the phone. You're 3,000 miles away. I can get you on the phone. Yeah. You're hungry. Uber eats it up. You need something. You click that. Healthcare. I mean, I know healthcare is a common topic right now, but it's like we at least have access to some of the stuff that they didn't have. I think little things like if I gotta go get a tooth pulled at the dentist, I'm so glad we have Novocaine right now. Imagine not having that. Yeah. So.
Costco.
That is true. Big box stores. But like, life has been hard for everybody. Why do we think all of a sudden it shouldn't be, or we shouldn't have challenges? That's my question. I want us to realize that like we actually need hard times to be a good, well-rounded person. That's my thought process.
I got so many thoughts going through my mind right now because that's just a really great, deep point. I just want to reflect it. I want to simmer on that for a second, what you said. Why do we expect life to be so easy
And why do we get so upset if something goes wrong? The delivery man is 30 minutes late, right?
In my VIP membership, so I cut you off.
No,
Sorry.
I was just going to give examples.
Yeah, right.
But
30 minutes late,
it's like
and
you
we're all
freak out.
butthurt about
Right.
it. Yeah. One of the, in my VIP membership, I have a federal judge.
Wow.
And
Dude, that's so cool. You have a
overseeing-
federal judge.
over
Wow.
yeah, and oftentimes I'm going to honor their privacy, but
Sure.
they will come to the meetings in their robes sometimes, and you can
Nice.
see the background.
Wow.
And just yesterday, this person said this is the safest time ever in our country's history ever. And this judge oversees like murderers,
Yeah.
homicides, robberies. And it's like, because I was talking about how we're such a fearful generation. We're so afraid of our kids getting kidnapped and all this bad stuff happening, which it still does. Sure, bad stuff does happen. But to your point, like life right now is one of the, what I think what you're
Easy.
trying to say is it's like the easiest maybe it's
So
ever been in
easy.
human history.
Right. Well, I mean, even if you were to look at, I was at church this last weekend, and they were talking about how many times in the Bible it says, do not fear. I mean, I don't know the number. It's like a lot. But it's like we've always had this thing called fear that limits us.
Yeah.
And we've been told, like, don't fear. It's good to respect fear, but you can't let that fear control you, right? We know we're going to have trouble. And the
Right.
problem is sometimes we let that fear overrun us. Some people won't travel to another country because of a little headline that something happened. But you're right. It's a good point. A federal judge is saying this is
Right.
the safest time in human history. But yet, if I turn on the news, I think this is the worst time in human history.
I have a flashback. I flash back a lot to like, for some reason, my mind flashbacks to like Native American culture.
Yeah.
Partly because I just love it. I live here in California, so there's like a lot of stuff. Like went backpacking 2 weeks ago, and you could see at this place. It was called the Salt Springs, and there's actually places where you can still see where the natives lived and how they engraved
Isn't that
different
cool?
things into the rock.
Yeah.
And I also flash back to like thinking about imagining my great grandfather and family living in Ireland, and it's just like that life was so much harder than 2025, right? It's like it doesn't compare. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I think it is kind of funny. I'm trying to imagine my great grandfather saying to his son, being like, you know, hey, we have to have a talk about hard work around here because it's an important part of life.
Right.
They didn't talk that way. It just
Right.
was, right?
And now we have to talk
it's like,
like
it
that.
just exists. Right.
Yeah.
It's like you have to now convince a child to work hard.
That's exactly
for the
right.
first time in human history. Right? It wasn't like this before. Isn't that kind of weird? You're trying to convince your child to work hard?
Right.
Like what has happened?
That's
it's
why-
like we're living out of that movie Wall-E right
Yeah.
now. In a sense.
I love time travel movies because of this. There's a scene from Back to the Future 3 where like Doc is telling all these guys who
Yes.
are like chewing like what the future is like, and he's like, do they even run anymore? Like, because you're used to running from snakes and like things that would hurt you or someone trying to shoot you, and he's like, no, people
right.
just run for fun. He's like, run for fun? Why would you run for fun? Right?
Right, run for fun, exercise for fun in our
Yeah.
free time.
In our free time.
Right. So, gosh, yeah, the dopamine, the screen. So now we're about to enter into a whole different version of human experience with this AI thing, which who knows what that's going to be about.
I know.
Yeah, and this is why more than ever, it's just have hope. Everybody take a deep breath, smile, and be like, it is a great time to be alive because you don't have to raise your kids into anything shady. You can raise your kids any way you want to healthy things, healthy old school stuff. And that's what we're going to give you 7 action steps today.
Love it.
So, okay, here we go. You ready, everyone? Okay, so the first one is something that you've heard on this podcast many times before. So we're going to do some storytelling around it and talk about the importance of this term, growth mindset. Many people still don't really understand what it means. A couple quick ways of understanding what it means, I'll tell a couple stories about it too, is like a mindset of how you think about something. So you come up to a problem in life, and researchers like Carol Dweck discovered why were some kids more successful than others. Well, what she discovered is that these kids weren't innately smart. Their brains weren't any bigger. It's that they had something that the other kids didn't have. Some kids had this growth mindset while other children she discovered had what she titled a fixed mindset. Some of the characteristics of this growth mindset is like, hey, I'm not afraid to try new things. Even though when I try new things, I know that I'm going to look stupid. I know that I'm going to fail. I'm probably going to maybe even feel embarrassed.
Right.
I might be hard on myself. I might experience really painful emotions. But I know that if I try and if I push myself, I can accomplish things. I can grow.
Yeah.
And then versus a fixed mindset is like, look, I hate feeling stupid. I hate feeling uncomfortable. I hate failing.
Right.
And I'd rather just stay fixed where I'm at and play it safe because it's more emotionally stable for me. And that was a huge difference that they found. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah. I picture right now like the high school gym. It's prom. Guys are over here, girls over here. Girls are dancing a little bit, but all the guys are like, I'm not going to dance. I'm going to look so silly, right? I don't want to mess up, right?
Yeah.
And that even happens to us adults. Like, think about when you go to a wedding and you're like, come on, let's dance. And they're like, no, I don't want to look foolish. The hard part is changing that for an adult, nonetheless, but for a kid. Like right now in my life, it's summertime when we're shooting this and or recording this, and my kids are off school, and I'm like, hey guys, we got to start reading. Let's read 30 minutes a day. That should be normal protocol. And they look at me, they're like, why? I already know how to read. And I'm like, you already know how to read, so you're saying you shouldn't read anymore. Well, you could always improve your reading, or B, let your mind wander with these stories. And so that frustrates me right now because I'm like, it's not about already knowing how to do something. It's how do I get better at it? And that's the transition I've got to figure out how to instill into them to have that growth mindset.
We've got numerous podcasts just on this topic that you can go into your Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to us and search in growth mindset, and you'll see here's a couple things of how you can play this out in your everyday life. First, you can talk about the brain with your children and teach them things like this, like brains grow like muscles when we challenge them. So you want to just help your kids understand that their brain can grow.
Right.
And you have to push yourself to brain.
You have to practice.
You push your brain to grow.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're talking about, hey, like, one of the best examples of like riding a bike. What you'll notice is that for not all kids, because some kids are really afraid of a bike or they're afraid of falling with a bike, but it's like when you teach someone to ride a bike, it just is obvious. Like you're not good in the beginning. You don't have to convince a child you're not going to be good at riding this bike. It's just obvious, whether it be skiing or water sports is a good example of that. Like for some reason, sometimes kids will pick up a basketball, they'll shoot 3 times, and they'll get all upset that they didn't make one.
Right.
Versus a bike, it's obvious. This is a hard machine.
Yeah.
So it's like you want to think about and teach your kids that life is like riding a bike. You're really not going to be good at it at anything in the beginning. At anything. And just accept that. And here's a couple of things that I've talked a lot about is, and I don't want to nerd on this, but please just do yourself a favor. Don't call your kids smart. Don't call them smart ever. Just trust me on this. Look it up if you don't believe me. In fact, one of the best things I think you can do to really build growth mindset in your kids is tell them they're not smart. I know that I'm not trying to be funny, but I just
should we tell them that or just not say it?
I believe I tell my kids they're not smart.
You are terrible. You tell your kids they're not smart.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. And
are they trying to get smart for you to prove you wrong? Is that what it's this like reverse therapy?
Well, what I'm doing is by telling them they're not smart, I'm actually giving them a different definition of what smart is versus like how other people think of smart, right?
Okay.
So it's like if I could tell them you're not falabala, I just made up a word.
Sure.
They're like, what's that, Dad? So what smart is something you're not naturally smart. So you're not naturally good at this. It takes time to become smart at something.
Okay.
And you're only 10. You're only 15.
Right.
So yeah, you keep pushing yourself at this, you'll become very smart at it.
Okay.
And smart is like you have a lot of information. You have a lot of skill around this area. So no, you're not naturally good at this right now. So then when they become really good at something or smart, like my 15-year-old been riding horses since she was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
I said, wow, you were really are rocking the horse. You are so good at that. You're like
Yeah.
so smart about it. You're rocking it. I can't look at how much. Look what you did.
Yeah, that
So see what I
growth.
did there,
Yeah.
right? Do you think that?
I
Just give me
do.
some feedback. Do you
I
think
like that
It's weird.
with-
It's
with the
different.
context.
Yeah.
I like that. But if
Yeah.
you're just going around like, "Pff, you kids are not smart at all, you know, but
Bullying my kids.
bullying your kids, be like, gosh, Dad, like, good luck on your test today, because you're gonna need it. We know how not smart you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I get it when you're talking about the time it takes to become smart, because you're right. Like, yeah, there's baby geniuses out there. We get it, and they're freaking brilliant. But I think what Sean's saying
Yeah.
is, it's like, I could tell them they're smart, but when they know they're smart, then they start to get cocky. And then maybe they think, like my kids, well, I don't need to do that. I already know how to play cards. I don't need to learn any more games. I understand them all. Like, it's that
Totally, man.
transition of like, no. I'm
Totally.
going to need to school you for a second so you know that you have a lot of learning to do.
I personally think that number one way to build a fixed mindset, not a growth,
Right.
a fixed mindset in your kids by telling them they're smart.
Okay.
And by over telling them how great they are. And it's like, no, self-esteem comes from doing simple things. So yes, our kids don't need to perform for us. Their identity is safe. They are who they are, and they don't need to act out. But like, you want to see your kid really push through and like push themselves beyond themselves. They're going to have to face tough emotional challenges. They're going to look stupid. They're going to fail. So just talk about like that's normal. This is how we
Right.
do it around here.
Right.
We fail all the time. It's great to fail. Learning experiences fail. We look stupid a lot. We're not good at most things. This is like what I say. My kids will overhear me saying things. I'm really not good at very much in life. I'm good at talking about like parenting type stuff. I'm pretty good at fantasy football, and I like walking
Fantasy
around
football.
and hiking. Those are like three things that I'm kind of good at. That's it, man. That's all
my
I
gosh,
got.
dude, that
That's
is
all I got to
hilarious.
offer the world.
Well, the hard part too is like, I mean, I'm glad you're honest with them, because we need to all be honest with them. But the hard part is figuring out how to be comfortable with losing, or how to be comfortable with not being smart, or how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
And I think that's going to lead us
good.
into your second tip here. But there's this quote that came from the book of James in the Bible, and I was reading this. I'm like, what in the heck? It says, it's James 1 verse 2.
Okay.
Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of any kind. How the heck am I supposed to find pure joy when I'm going through a rough
so good.
situation?
So
Like, that's not a
good.
thing. I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna hate the world. Right? How many people go through let's say it's a really traumatic experience. You wave your fist at God. Woe is me. How am I supposed to find pure joy in something like that?
So good. Why? Why does it say that? Why does the Bible say consider it pure
question.
joy? So like look upon this situation, and instead of considering it, this is horrible, this is bad. The
Right,
Bible's like
oh, easy for
flipping it
you,
upside down.
easy for you to say it's pure.
Why do you think
You
that's in
everything
there?
you look at life is just ice cream and sugar plums. But no, life can be hard, and I can dwell in this hardness, right? Like there's a difference in the,
Right.
like, yeah, you're both right. But the person who's looking at life like it's sugar plums and ice cream is because they're choosing to look at it as like, no problem is too big that I can't handle.
so good. That's like the Bible is teaching grit, perseverance, mindset, gratitude in that one sentence.
Right.
Consider it pure joy. That is deep.
It's hard.
Gosh.
But maybe we need to look at it that life is happening to us, as I say often, or happening for us instead of to us, right? So it's like, if I'm going through a tough time, can I use this tough time and get good out of it? Can I look at this tough time to help build me up to be better tomorrow?
You're actually speaking about our next of our 7 points, our second point, which is
Right.
something that you and I were chatting about before we hit record on this. So tell us, if the first point is to teach growth mindset to your children by modeling it, the second point is it has to do with something that has to do with a gift. So keep continue on that.
Right. So tip
Tell us
2
about a
would be like,
gift.
this problem we have to look at as it is a gift, right? Everything that comes our way is maybe put in place for us to become better. And it could be the littlest thing, or it can be the biggest
Yeah.
thing. We can make a mountain out of a molehill, as the saying is, right? The delivery driver's 30 minutes late, so it ruined your timeline to get to the person's house so that you could
Right.
do a presentation on time. But how are we going to look at that moment right? Is it going to be like, oh, everything's ruined
really
from that
good.
point forward, or can I look at it as like, no, I'm learning patience. So like for me, when I give you examples about this, let's look at diamonds. How are diamonds created? Pressure. They probably don't like it in that time. How are babies born? There's pressure, there's pain in that moment. It sucks, but then the joy that comes out of it is amazing. Muscles created by giving it more resistance, more pressure, more resistance, right? You build up that muscle. So we need to be comfortable with the idea of being uncomfortable, and will this make us a better person? So on me,
Right.
I've had scary moments. All right, I'm gonna go. Here's an example. Freshman year of college, my first speaking class. Jordan, get up on stage. You have to do a project speaking about something. Figure it out. And I'm like scared
Northern
to death.
Arizona University.
Dude, I was so scared. I'm like, how am I supposed to talk to these kids about a topic that I don't? What topic? And the teacher was cool. He was like, dude, any topic you want. And so he said something to me that made my college life go by so much easier. He's like, make it something you love. Because you love talking about it. For Sean, it'd be fantasy football because he's so good at it. I'd be like, dude, this is what you got to do,
Yes.
right? My speech. So my speech was about why The Price is Right was the best game show host or best game show out there.
Yes!
Because I was on it. So I was like, dude, I gotta back this up.
You were.
So then you had to define it. You had to back it up, and you had to come up with your points as to why. But when I was on stage, it made it so much easier and more fun. And so now, I mean, look what I do. Now I'm in front of a lot of people all the time, every day, and that teaching in that moment sucked, but I learned so much, and now I use it today.
Yes. Jordan is a weatherman on the Weather Channel. If you did not know that, tune in to channel.
Channel TWC.
That's awesome.
Is there any
That's awesome.
thing in your life where you're like, dude, that was really hard, but I did it, and I'm better because of it?
This morning, something happened to me
great.
this morning. And
Wow.
I started crying. I started crying.
You stubbed your toe. What?
No, I did a cold plunge.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh.
I had a workout. Yeah. So
Did
I
you really
cry
cry? It
sometimes
was
with my
that cold?
plunge. I mean, yeah, the tears. Yeah, like it's not. I don't do it that cold, but I put.
Dude, I've never done it.
I worked out and I cold plunge, and it's pure torture. I do it for 3 minutes, and it's so much pain, but I do it because of all the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
It helps me wake up. I feel alive. Then it gets me set up for a great workout in my garage. But yeah,
Good for
man, I
you,
think
man.
on a second point is 2 points is like, I don't think I've ever said this out loud before, but I think I'll say it. I had a lot of marriage problems for like a long time. Like especially the first 10 years.
Yeah,
A lot of reasons why.
sure.
I mean, I was just so, even though the 25-year-old man that you knew, I was not a good, like, mature husband. I wasn't a bad husband. I was just not emotionally mature.
Yeah.
And I think my wife and I just had a lot of baggage that we brought into the marriage, you know, a lot of stuff. And it wasn't always bad. It was usually good. But with these blow-ups, man, that we would have, so painful. So painful.
A lot of us can relate to that feeling. That
So painful.
they say a bad relationship
painful
is
for
worse
so
than
long.
cancer, right? It could just tear you up.
Tear me up in so many different reasons. I'm sure it did for her too. And it started getting a lot better, like around, 10, 11, 12, but it was still happening. So it just felt like this is never going to go away.
Yeah.
But I stepped into that. I just started, I read books. We went to counseling. We went to more counseling. I read more books. I talked to my therapist. I talked to friends. I talked to mentors. I talked to this mentor. I didn't give up. And I just think that here we are, like, have a podcast that's in like 120 something countries. I have popular social media videos. I have a thriving membership. My book is going to come out. I'm here with you. And most importantly, I have a happy marriage. And we don't really have those blow-ups anymore. And when we do, like we did over the weekend, my wife and I were able to bounce back within like 3 hours, bro. Dude, 3 hours we bounced back.
That's amazing.
That's huge for us.
Well, think about the time.
so-
That's the thing. Like that pain, there is no fast, quick resolve for a situation like that. And that relationship that you've had for this long is so much more connected and intertwined with that history.
It is, man. It is. It is, and it was so many years and decades of hard work, and we're still not there, but we are there. Like we're doing it, you know?
Right.
We're doing
You're both
it.
willing.
We're here, and like we're doing it, and we're happy and healthy, and we're not perfect.
But that's great.
It didn't happen overnight.
Right.
That's all. It did not. That's the moral of the story. That where we are right now. That's why anniversaries. I'm just like rambling right now. I don't know. I'm like fighting back the tears. That's why anniversaries to me are a big deal, dog.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because they are like,
that makes sense.
Dude,
They're important.
22 years in November.
Yeah.
Hell,
It wasn't
yeah.
easy.
We
Yeah.
did it, Danielle.
Well, the hard
Let's
part is
go.
like now, think about it. Divorce rates are they're high. Everyone's got this app that's just go to the next person. It's so much easier to switch to something next. But how much more important is it to stick through the thick and thin, like we say we're going to when we get married to that person, and how much stronger and more mature of a person you are now? And that's why I'm saying like maybe all these hard times that we've gone through is to make us exactly who we're supposed to be at the end of this life. That growth mindset. I'm going to grow and stick it out.
Growth mindset. Yeah. And marriage is a good example of like that because, of course, in an ideal world, you have two partners that have a growth mindset. So you're both growing and working on it together.
Yeah.
Right. But yes, like there's something special about the human experience when you can just not give up and you stay committed to something or someone and somebody and you just keep grinding.
And everybody
And you
listening right
see-
now, I want you to like take this moment and realize like you can look at Sean Donohue on social media and think he has everything. Oh, this guy's so likable and life must be so easy. But like, thank you for letting us know and giving us an insight into that because looking from the outside, that's the problem we have. All of us are looking at the cover of a book and we're not going through the pages and looking at the inside.
That's deep. That's good. That actually is a good transition to our point number 3. How to teach kids to push through when it's difficult is actually, I didn't mean to do this, but I think I just gave a good example for point 3. Point 3 is use the power of yet.
Okay.
That's what this means. Your kids
Oh, I
say,
like
"Oh,
that.
I can't do it. It's too hard. No, I'll never be able to do it." You
And then you say
model
yet.
this by saying, "No, you don't say that. You say,
Yeah.
I can't do this yet. Yeah, you
Right.
can't do it right now. You suck at it.
Right.
You suck at riding this bike. Yeah, you suck at basketball.
Yeah.
That's okay. You just started, man.
Right.
You just started. Everybody sucks in the beginning. This is just my language, right? My dad used to hate it when I used that word "sucks." No, and you just can't do it right now, and that's okay. This is normal. It's like, and it's like this is, I think, what got me through. One of the things that got me through all these marriage problems is I just really knew, I really believed we were going to get there one day. We were going to overcome. And we would still have, problems, of course, but these huge blow-ups that would just devastate us for like a day, 2 days, 3 days, 2 weeks. It's like I just really believe we will get there one day. We're not there right now, but the power of yet. We can't do this yet. We can't overcome these problems as a
so
couple
good.
yet.
That's a
But
great
we
tip.
can one day.
Yeah.
Isn't that-
It's
Yeah.
really good. And I
Thank
think
you.
too, as you're saying this, it's making me explore how to get that mindset into a kid. I don't know the answer, but I'm just thinking of something right now. My kid, my son, I'm so proud of him. He had the freaking Rubik's Cube and he looked at you. I mean, he just stuck it out. And now he knows how to solve that thing. I don't even know how to solve a Rubik's Cube. Now he's working
Yeah,
on
me neither.
juggling.
Yeah.
I'm teaching him how to juggle. And he's like, oh, I can't do it. I'm like, I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Yet. Let's keep practicing, right?
Yeah,
The thing
yes.
I want to figure out how to do, and maybe these tips will help us get us there, is instilling the why into our kids. Why did he want to learn it so
Okay.
bad? I don't know the answer why he wanted to learn
Oh,
the Rubik's Cube so
good.
bad.
Yeah.
Why does he want to learn to juggle so bad?
Yeah.
Why does he quit at this but want to excel and practice and do this? So many kids want to quit because they don't have a why and they don't like. I don't know that, but we have to figure that out too with the way we're speaking to our kids and teaching this growth mindset. We got to figure out how to
why.
teach them their why. Like,
I
give
love
them
when
a
you always
reason.
you bring that up a lot in the podcast. I think Yeah, it's really, really good to slow down and ask the why. Why is your kid doing that? Why are you doing that? I see something similar to that. That was like, it's never about what it's about, and that's like you're always bringing us back to the power of why. I think that's really good, Jordan.
Well, I think
really good.
well the reason why I always do is because why did you stick it out with Danielle instead of move on when it was so hard?
Mm-hmm.
You had something in you that says, "No, I have a vision of us working out, and I'm going to stick it
A
out." Because
vision.
you had an important
faith.
why,
A vision.
faith, correct,
Hope.
right? And so for someone who is a Michael Jordan and practicing basketball, their why, they want to get out of poverty, they want to have a chance to make money. I don't know what your why is, but like for some of us that are looking to this growth mindset, you can see how successful people have that. Whatever their reason is, they have something that's
good.
driving them or pulling them to that end goal.
Really good.
Could be faith.
There's
could
one
be anything.
tip that I'll share at the very end of this podcast just to keep you on, which I think is the number one tip that I found. And I trust me when I say you've probably never heard this before. So hang tight.
Okay.
We're on number 3. Number 3, I think, is really key, and to really modeling a life of grit, perseverance, and teaching it. We're going to call this coaching self-compassion in your children.
Okay.
Here's what it means. Okay, so earlier I gave a really good example of not being compassionate to your kids. You know you're not smart.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right.
Everyone was like, what is this wacko saying?
Yeah.
But here's what the opposite would be like. Hey, it's okay to struggle. Like, everyone does. You're not alone. Like, yeah, I know it hurts when you're not good at something. But that's okay. You know, you're good at so many other things. So just be compassionate to yourself. I know it's hard to admit that, you know, that we're not good at certain things. So just be loving and patient towards yourself versus what some, you know, motivational experts do is they actually like cuss themselves out. They call themselves names. This is a big part of actually a fixed mindset. I can tell you countless teenagers who I've counseled over the years, Jordan, who are very unhealthy. They're in the pits. And I've asked them, tell me about that inner voice you have.
Really?
What do you say when you're like, you know, not doing something good or you're feeling depressed or down?
They say they curse themselves out?
Oh, way worse. Yeah.
Where's that coming
They
from?
say, I should
Where does
be
that come
dead.
from? Why have you asked them, like, is that because they're parents? Is
yeah,
that
I
because
that's a big,
mean-
lots of places. Lots of places. One kid, it came from his freshman football coach who used to
Really?
cuss him out and call him all types of names like fat. And he said it really worked freshman year. And now he was a freshman in college and he was still doing them to himself. But now he's been self-bullying himself for 4 years and he jacked himself up.
oh my
So
gosh.
it could come from a parent. It just comes from the false belief that negative self-talk motivates you, because some
Right.
people believe that cussing yourself out and bullying yourself motivates yourself. That's why some
Sure.
athletes, they're out in the field, they're calling themselves names. Don't
Yeah,
be a
like, you
sissy.
suck.
You're,
Yeah, you
you're
suck. You-
right.
yeah.
But that's not. That's not how I motivate myself. Is that how you motivate yourself by calling
No.
yourself names?
Yeah. I usually, I've been playing tennis recently, and anytime it comes down to like the clutch time where I'm like, okay, I could beat this guy, you know what my self-talk is? No, you can't. You always screw up. You're going to screw up again.
So
Always.
you do it sometimes.
I do it. Yep. I'm like, it's like
Does it?
games on the line.
Work?
No, and then I lose, and I expect to lose. I'm like, yep, there you go, Jordan. You just lost it just like you normally do. And instead of, I've
just
tried the
bought
other
a,
thing, like, no, you got
yeah.
this. You got this. And it doesn't work. So I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not here to win. I'm just here to have fun.
I'm just here to have it. It's like I'm not here to get time. It's like a country song.
Yeah.
Just here for a good time. I just bought a pickleball net off Amazon last night for $60.
Heck yeah, you did. Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, we
yeah.
got to play.
Hey, here's let me get your honest feedback on something. Okay.
Yeah.
I realized just now, and be honest with me. Tell me if you like this or don't like this. So what happens is when someone wants to join my VIP membership, they have to have a call with me or someone on my team. We have to vet them to make
Okay.
sure they're a good fit and they're
And
not weird.
they have a
'Cause
problem.
We don't want to
Right.
Yeah, so they come and they say, hey, I want to join your VIP membership. And then what happens is as I'm talking to them about the membership and all the goodies it comes with, because you get so much time with me and support. And these people are telling me about their problems in their family, in their struggle with their kids, or their struggle with their own parenting. Sounds right?
Of course. Yes.
And then sometimes, not all the time, but often, on this call, the parents will start kind of like
Putting themselves
self-deprecating themselves.
Sure.
Or they're just like, you can just sense it over the phone. They're just like sinking into the sadness
Sure.
of their life, like how hard their life is.
Yeah.
And sometimes as a way of trying to like comfort them, build them up, encourage them, I'll say this. And I don't know if it's good or not. So I'm asking you what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah.
I'll say something like this. I'll say, you know what? I really know I can help you, and I can give you the tools that you need. I can learn a lot from you, but this is an area you can learn a lot from me. I'm not good at much, but I would love to give you these tools because you have a lot of skills. I can learn so many things from you, but I would love to pass these skills on to you. I say it better than that. But
So you're
something
saying
like that sometimes.
you're just giving them a little confidence when you're saying this. Like really, you're saying, listen, you're going to listen to me, and I'm going to help you. But in the process, you're actually going to teach me something too that maybe I wasn't aware of. And so this is going to be a mutual agreement. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
a little
sweet.
bit,
That's very nice of you.
That's part of it, yeah.
That's very nice of
I'm
you.
just trying to let them know, like, it's okay that you don't have the tools right
Yeah.
now to solve
But I'm
these
gonna help
problems.
you.
But you have a
You have
lot
a lot
of
other skills. Yeah, that's very nice.
It's like I'm trying to give them self-compassion and a grit and a growth mindset towards parenting.
Yeah.
Like, hey, yeah, you're going to have to put some work into this.
Yeah.
But you got this.
I think in society right now, there's a reason why personal coaches have really jumped. If you look at like people's jobs, like people need coaches. There's so many people putting us down. Like we need someone that can cheer us up or help us out. I think in that process, though, some people are scared to give them a dose of reality. You're not scared to give people a dose of reality. Like Dave Ramsey, not scared to give people a dose of reality when it comes to finances. Like you suck, start over, or you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
So for you, you're doing great because you're like, listen, I'm gonna give you some confidence, but it's also gonna be a little hard, right? And that's what we're expecting. So I think what you're doing is great. I think what you're doing is great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a little way of trying to give them compassion and comfort and motivation all in
And
a
that's
little
tip
connection.
3.
All right.
So, and think about this. That's tip 3 for an adult. That's an adult, right? We got to do this with our kids too. We got to start young.
Yeah. Well said, man. Start young. All right, number 4. Number 4 tip. Teach emotional labeling for self-regulation. Here's what this means. Okay, so there's this famous doctor who's written some good books on parenting. Dr. Dan Siegel wrote the book, The Whole Brain Child. It's a pretty good book. It's popular. It's okay.
Okay.
A little this, little that. But one of the themes that he teaches in this book is this little catchphrase that he teaches is called "Name it to tame it." Essentially, what it means.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that when kids say, "Oh, I'm frustrated," or "I can't do this. This is overwhelming.
Yeah.
I just want to give up." They say it, and this actually makes sense because it actually begins to calm their brain. It feels good to say that.
When
Makes sense, right? This is why they say it.
When you name what that is.
So labeling emotions activates the prefrontal cortex, which helps with perseverance. So what this means is you name the hard. So instead of just sitting there and glorifying like how hard or being negative energy or whatever, what Dan is talking about is name the hard and normalize it. Say that this is hard and that's okay. Hard things help us grow.
Yeah.
So instead of like saying I can't do it, it's just like this positive energy. This is hard. Normalizing is part of the struggle. Name it to tame it. So when you name, oh my gosh, I'm really stressed. I'm studying for my algebra test. It's so hard. I know, but I can do it. It's frustrating, but I know I can do it. So you tame the emotion like you're taming a lion.
Yeah. I'm sure you have that feeling when you're in the cold plunge. Get out, get out, get out. And you're like, shut up.
Exactly, dude. That's exactly how you have to get through it. You're like, just be patient. You're hurting. You're about to. Do you feel like you're going to die, but you're not going to die? This is good for you. It's only 3 minutes long. You're going to feel so much better afterwards.
That's good.
And so All right, number 5. Should we go to number 5?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So again, all connected to like connecting in our children's brains and how we create this culture in our homes. Number 5 is train the brain with reset tools.
Okay, so,
how do we
let's say we've
train
gotten to
our
the point where we've
children's
named
brain?
it. We've named that negative energy or that negative self-talk. Now we have to retrain our brain to what?
So it's like we all imagine your child is all spinning out of control.
Sure.
They're saying, I can't do it. I want to give up. I don't want to play lacrosse anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to do my chores. It's too hard. So they're kind of spinning, and now they're looking for connection by whining.
Yeah.
They're looking for help by saying, I don't want to do this. I give up.
Okay.
I'm feeling frustrated. That helps them feel good. I guess that complaining. And now we come in our own way. We say something like, in a way that works for an age-appropriate kid, hey, your brain can't think clearly when it's overwhelmed. So let's take a deep breath.
Okay.
Calm yourself down. You can clean your room. It's only going to take you 3 minutes. There's only 4 things on the ground. That's too hard.
That's exactly right. It's
That's
like
so
the world
true.
is ending. You're like, calm down.
The
This
world
is so
ending.
easy.
So let's calm down. Put a splash of water on your face. Do some jumping jacks. Move your body. Shake it off. Get a snack. Right, so you're just like intervening in that destruction.
I love that. No, I love that. I love that. But sometimes that process, like you always say, that teaching moment might not happen in the moment because they're still spiraling out of control. So it might take a little bit. Like, go cool down.
Yeah.
I'll teach you this in a minute because you're freaking out that I'm asking you to brush your dang teeth.
I have a number 6. Number 6, what I wear for number 6 is you want to do this a lot. This is such a great hack. Such a great hack. When you talk about grit, talk about it out loud. Okay, here's what I mean. Is that oftentimes you listen to this. You go to Pilates. You go to yoga. Oftentimes you push yourself in this exercise, or you do extra cooking to make things extra nice, or extra cleaning to make things extra nice. Or you don't give up, you push, but you don't say it out loud. So if you have children in your home and they can hear you, say things like out loud. Hey, I wanted to quit halfway through my workout today, but I told myself one more step, keep going. Or you know what, I had this big project at work and I thought about complaining. I thought about saying to my boss, I can't do it, but I didn't. I went in there and I pushed it and I did it and I feel so good about myself.
That's
so
good.
you're just like talking about stuff you already normally do.
Right.
But you're just telling your kids you do this stuff. Makes sense. Doesn't that a great tip?
Totally. And for your kids, they'll like look at you as like they'll look at you in so much of a better way. Like if I don't tell my kids some of these things, they're just like, oh, it's just so easy for dad because he's dad. Right. But if I'm like, dude, this was hard and I freaking busted my butt and I did it, then they get excited for me if, if I surpass whatever goal I'm trying to surpass. That's good. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like this is usually when people talk about grit, they talk about what we're about to say. So it's like, and Carol Dweck talks about this in her book. It's like you praise the process, you praise the effort, not the outcome.
Right. That's exactly
So your kid gets a good grade. Oh, instead of saying, "Oh, you're so smart. Oh, you did such a good job," you can say like, "Hey, you know what? You stuck with that. I saw you working hard.
Yeah.
Or you should be so proud of yourself. You really pushed hard. You really studied hard."
Do you say you're proud of them too?
Yeah,
I do too. I like some people are like, you shouldn't say it, but I'm like,
too.
dude, I am so proud of them. And I want them to know that.
Yeah, me too.
Good.
Tell them, that feels good. I remember I had a teenage girl once cry to me.
What?
I think I gave her a hug. So you could say she cried in my arms because I told her, I'm so proud of you. She was 15 years
that's so
old. This is
sweet.
like 15 years ago. And she cried. She said, I've never heard that before. My parents have never told me that they're proud of me.
Oh my
And this is
gosh.
a lovely, great girl who's just like doing some great things. And
that's
she
so
should have been proud of
sweet.
yourself.
Yeah.
So like, hey, I saw how many times you tried that in so many different ways. That was really creative perseverance. Like you're really a persistent person. You are tough. You really don't give up. See how naturally that can just come off,
Yes. And it's easy. And it's a booster. That's a huge booster. That helps their confidence level go up dramatically. And it's even more if they get it from their friends, which it's so hard to get it from their friends. But this is something too for us as adults. Like, it's good for us to tell our friends some of this stuff too. Us as guys, it's like I always will throw you down, as like, hey, I see you're good, but like really you suck. But it's like,
I know.
But sometimes we know
that's
that.
why a lot of middle school boys have actually a lot of problems, because middle school boys bully each other, and some are ruthless.
Yeah.
Because they're teasing each other so much. Hey, before I tell you my seventh point, which I think is the best, the most interesting, tell me some thoughts, because when we were chatting before the show started, Jordan, you were talking about how so many Hollywood stars have done a really good job.
They really have.
Of talking about how they use grit and their backstory. And some of these people are pretty famous, and it's like kind of helped us that's the interesting thing about celebrities. Is like celebrities are kind of storytellers, and they can be really inspirational.
Well, not only that, we look at them.
Stories.
We look at them as like, oh, they made it, right? And the hard part is like some of those people in the world don't think they made it at all. That's why we all have our own battles. But like, if you're a kid right now and you're like, gosh, my mom's an assistant at a hospital and my dad's a plumber, and why can't I have cool parents? Like, why can't my parents be like famous, right? You could say that to yourself. But then like you look at Drew Barrymore, and she had famous parents, and she had the worst childhood. She battled substance abuse, right? And now she's made it, but she used a very dark time to push her to be better. Jim Carrey was extremely poor. At one point, his family, he had 4 brothers and sisters. I didn't really see he had 4 siblings. They all lived in a van for multiple days, if not weeks. And that's where he found comedy, because it was so miserable. He had to make people laugh in his family, and that's where he found comedy. And look at him now. I mean, the dude's been in so many A-list movies and is awesome. And some people say, well, he went off the deep end as he gets older. I freaking love Jim Carrey. And then like, what about like your brother and sister? What if you're just so sick of fighting with your brother and sister? Ashley Judd, she had a sister, but her mom and family would leave for multiple hours, if not days, for work, and she was left alone. And that loneliness really got to her. And she in fact, she wrote it in her a book about that. It was called All That Is Bittersweet. So it's like, it seems all nice, but it was not as nice as you think it was. So, some of these people have gone through some really rough times, but it's like, going back to what was their why? Why did they transition and make it propel them instead of making it dive them down into a deeper hole? They dug themselves out and decided to go above and beyond.
Really good. Yeah, man.
Like, look at even the success you were talking about with yourself. Think about going back and telling high school Sean or early college Sean when he's going through dark times, dude, you're going to have these beautiful girls. You're going to have an awesome wife. You're going to live in a beautiful part of California that catches fire all the time, and you just have to make sure that your house don't catch
It's
fire.
so true.
But
it's true.
It's so true.
Right by my house, I had 2 grass fires in a 10-day period. It's so true. You might have seen that on my Instagram stories. Dude, thank you. Yes, you see me, Jordan.
I see
Thank you, man.
You got to see
All
yourself.
right, before I got my 7th tip, and this is so good. I've never heard anybody tell people this tip, and I'll use it. I'll use your son as a good example if I could.
Okay.
Your son is rocking at gymnastics, man. Isn't he?
He's
I
he's
see on your
kicking butt.
Instagram.
He's having a fun time.
Dude.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Dedicated. I don't know why, but he loves it.
He clearly has a major growth mindset when it comes to gymnastics.
When it comes to that, he quits at a lot of stuff, but that he has stuck it out, and I love that. He found whatever his
Perfect
passion.
example then. Perfect example. He quits at a lot of stuff, but he has a major growth mindset. So here's the hack. This is so good, man. I'm so happy to be sharing this. Look at your child. And you don't have to look hard. And you will find that they already have a growth mindset in numerous areas of life.
Ooh, I like
Some
that.
parents are shaking their head, not up and down right now.
Right.
Jordan, some parents are shaking their head left and right now. Said, nope, not my kid. All my kid does is play Fortnite. All my daughter does is she wants to be on Snapchat. All my son does is just play with freaking Legos all day.
Yeah.
My son just wants to do this and do that. Not true. Your child might be manifesting their growth mindset they're in an area of life that you don't prefer, like Snapchat, like Minecraft, like Fortnite, like
we don't get.
but they have it. They have it.
It's just in something else.
So it's something else that is maybe not good or not healthy.
Right.
And so what you want to do is you want to build them up by focusing on the positive and say, hey, I love how you do gymnastics. Like, seriously, you're on your way to becoming like so skilled at this. I'm so proud of you. You're like a beast out there.
Yeah.
You don't just give up. I love that about you, son. So, son, take that same passion, take that same energy, and put it into fill in the line, Jordan. Put it into reading.
Yeah.
Reading.
Yeah, no, that ain't
I know that's not your favorite thing, but it's good for your brain. Your brain is like a muscle. I want you to stretch it this summer. And if you read for 30 minutes a day, well, then I will do this for you. I will reward you with this. So now you're giving them the carrots and the sticks, the carrots, the dopamine. But see, you help them transfer that, what they have, into these other areas of life, which would be more positive or more healthy.
That's true.
Or just gymnastics is extremely healthy. It's like, God, it'd be the hardest sport of all, maybe. So what do you think about that tip? Just by
I think that's
focusing
great.
on that positive transference.
Yeah. I mean, I think like for someone like you, like I don't do the cold plunge, but so many people have to use that mindset into doing something extremely painful because they know they have a growth mindset in this category, this category, this category. But when it comes to something extremely hard or something they really don't want to do, I don't want to do it either. So we have to, as adults, take that and move it over. And we have to teach the kids how to do that too. That's really wise. What do we call that? Just transformational. Transferring.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's
mindset
great.
transference. Yeah, whatever. All right, guys. We did some
Transpondence.
really, really good work today. How to teach kids to push through when it's difficult. Here it comes. One is teach them about a growth mindset. Teach them. Use your words. Speak up. Brains are like muscles. We challenge them and they grow. Number two, help them see that their challenges, their obstacles are a gift. They're not bad. They're a good thing. They are a gift. They're going to help you become a better version of yourself, help you increase your gratitude. Number three is use the power of yet. When they say, I can't do this, I want to quit, it's so hard, you say, no, that's not how we talk. What you want to say is, I can't do this yet. Good. Number four, coach them to have self-compassion for themselves. It's tough to fail at something. It's tough to look silly and look stupid. That's what happens when you have a growth mindset. So speak kindness over them and help train them to have a great inner self voice.
Great.
Say things like this. It's okay to struggle.
Yeah.
Like everyone does. You know, you're not alone. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
It's tough when we fail, but it's a normal part of life. Number five, it's teach emotional labeling for self-regulation. What this means is like name it to tame it. So you want to help them use their words to calm themselves down, to tame those lions, those big emotions, whether they're freaking out because they have to clean their room or they're so scared to go to the senior prom. It's like, hey, it's okay to be scared. This is hard, and that's okay. Hard things help us grow. Take a time out, take a little break, like take good care of yourself. Next one is train their brain with reset tools. Being like, hey, like we got to think clearly now. You got to maybe take a time out. Get your mind on straight. Number six is model grit out loud when you talk. So when you go to the gym, don't just say, I'm going to the gym. Say, hey, I'm going to the gym because I know I got to really take care of myself. I got to really do this for me so I can be the best parent that I can be. Instead of saying to them, hey, I went to work and I had a good day. Say, I went to work and I was thinking about quitting, or I was thinking about giving up on this one job, but I did, and I pushed through, and I did it, and I really was successful. I'm really happy with myself. And the last one is what Jordan and I are calling grit transference. Look at a couple areas of their life where they're already having a lot of grit, a lot of toughness. It might be an area that you don't prefer. It could be like in a video game or Fortnite, or it could be on Snapchat, or it could be on something. Look and see, look, I see how gritty you are here, how tough you are. You really push through and you don't give up. So I want you to transfer that same energy, that same mindset, that same way of thinking into these other good things.
This is how you persevere. This is great, dude. Great tips. Love this podcast.
I love this podcast too. Thanks for everything you shared to bring some great wisdom and storytelling inspiration to all of us today, Jordan.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, too.